say ewo UTV so ena wo hwe what says the law ena debia me say ye debate makwan so aha ye treacherous mo what the law says and then your friend say we try to explain all the complexities of the laws of the land. Last week, na yen common no efa aware ho the different types of marriage, nema aware the legality of marriages kwa ewo Ghana ha ena eho nsonson so ena me say you can't be see baby you do dissolution na this how we can dissolve marriage na me say this weekend so ye de eba beto so you can customary for the and you can the ordinance one and see this week no ye ba beto so efi the Mohammedan way of dissolving marriages since ye nko break ye koba na ye de yedwumedie no atwa so ewo UTV medase se we fidie no eda ha say medin ede ekua asanteba mensa te se na mekae no mene lawyer Edwin Kusi Apia na eneso ewo me studio ha ye toa ye nkomo no about marriages in Ghana lawyer akwaba
mini aba medase
em say we toa so intentem na topic no em say nsem shishim ya boboso intentem a ye nwie last week I think say ye can the dissolving of marriages and ye can a customary one and I would ye eba ordinance how we been to bit me aboso intentem quickly amavena ye de Mohammedan de no atwas
me the kind dissolving of marriages and make I say eba customary ya warrior na nko for friend or traditional marriage na I'm friend engagement na so we person ujaya wouldn't sanko and I say what the bride price no call depending on culture kra edim ebusia tenase na ebusia jepini say sisi no nipa mienu no omuntimi en ware bio en ebusia no so a omaka bom sisi a omonka bom bio na chese obia de ne de ko but court so to me say obogu sa ware no enti inside that say obeye no by ebusia and now obeye no by court but they do na ba court because aware no enso no ebia na akonenim na ejapadia bem kolabem na so we are no traditional divorce na it difficult to say nipa na be chesa and court na betimi a share the bibia 2 year and I make say eba ordinance marriage na dia e court pe because sa aware no aban na ejina mu ma so until no aban anso na besan egu no and as aware no say okay a medical ka say ebusuan ho hia ebusuan no ma together until no mumie no na mo ba mo ware ye na aban hwe say odi de beto ato na medical me ka say aban be hwe say ana court be hwe say aware na tete apansama we ye ho hwe a enye nti judge no wotie be ma na wotie oba ni nyina no wo hwe say aware na pansama tete a we ye ho hwe enye yi say we am to that conclusion obetimi aka chem say monko back nko ware o wo sa to me no na owie nso a otimi determine nioma bia na mode ato nanim te say ye ejapade bom nti ye pese wo chema ye wonkola nti kire bebi onkotena kire sika e wo say obi atua kire edition kola ne kire sika obi abetua for rent well any say bia nkola ne yare ne sa nyoma nti court hihye sa nyoma ni nyina enti
okay and I say woka bibi fa limoni so ho so
limoni so make I say eba limoni a titiro man ebusa limoni and omu busa ne say many be man atna for this sinise na wabu mi kwase anti no ontua bibi kakra for it and I me science so say yes probably member so to me busa for limoni because wona yesisi wa waremu na so oba no of substantial means obetimi atua for the how or the wakom na you can ask the court
so if either spouses in bisa court no so ehwe situation and circumstances na court no betimi ahye
court betimi
ahye party into
most of the na most of the time court has over 2 million or award the cost after your friend at the end of any litigation because or share the nipana go through or share a car nipanabo even crash and as somewhere there a be okofa lawyer ni sa nyoma nyina and a neka so on the court in the shell say okay my mimbusa ka we manipana enam ne so nti no we nyina aba aha na ontua.
All right. Yeah, fa Mohammedan dissolving the Mohammedan marriage and so na
sorry. Usha Mohammedan's marriage na akwa yet to say traditional marriage. Was it debia meba me say tradition essentially sanity. Nti ano so no the same way no oba no anabema no timi de oba ne call back say sisi ano mintimi ware ni bio. And also the returning of bride price na ade etimi bem. So but Titu sani midi kan no dodo na ba for dissolution from court system because de bia na obehu na ware na konenim se nkola mmemu kra na eya na japade abem aha eya mete I don't know how true that is but entina ye wa ha yesu ade no say em say Mohammedan marriage no em say okasa bi kwa utumeka so oba ne tumeka na say be man ne tumeka automatically be man na ka ha automatically na we dey ja ware egu
enti sado I'm more interested in that because wakasa na egu no na wasesa woniema ko and then what happens to say na okay ejapade nnem na say enti enu egu wia and so we come to the court
you can go to the court usually the omo ye ne say so oba say in fact say a traditional marriage kwan wo gu na wia oba say o medical gu no but me pese court che ejapade ni the same thing say kasa we abamu ama warija ye na ba enti eno de age atum na mum ejapade aba ejapade wum nkola wum enti court no ka ho asem man.
Is it only the case me person want to clarify bi is it only the case where bema no ene jai oba ewo Islam?
Oh no oba su ti me jai bema oba ti me jai
okay enti ono so wakasa bi ono su to me
ono so sa
mama again I'm taking you back to marriages ye free dissolving ho say me ye Muslim na me waria me to me outside of me Mohammedan marriage na ye nhwehwe mu senia your friend is saying Islam in church or anything no maybe me to me na me person me call ordinance marriage na say me to me aye ne sa na
ontimi ordinance marriage dear senia me kan no ya ware a jealous chain aware bia wo wiase
na enu me to me nkoye then if I do it then it means that me worry e bi enka ho
ene wo say wujai wo yire no ma waware under Islamic marriage ni nyina ansana wa babe ware
but when first one no ekoye saade a untumi nware bi nka ho
u koye first one no na koye first one na we jana na
nti first one no wo ye no te sene a ohun say wo ye traditional marriage a utumi ko register e bia we ne ye Mohammedan marriage ni wie ye no ene te wa na say oh wo say we dwuma no bia wo kon kan why a big man miss why a big woman nti ene e pese ye ordinance marriage
oh betimi aye
ordinance
betimi aye because almost all the marriage is traditional Islamic betimi converting into ordinance
okay
that is with the same person
okay
but unya yes awie na be your ordinance abeye strictly monogamous marriage.
Do the court have to set aside the marriages you have done previously before they marry you under the ordinance?
Absolutely. Ordinance marriage untimi wa worry da untimi nya ordinance wa worry na wa worry mu a untimi nya ordinance.
So this is in respect to the two parties. We initially wanted to do customary marriage. We did a customary marriage or the Mohammedan marriage. And then we came to the court to register. Fast forward, our tastes have changed. Maybe our circumstances have changed. Or maybe we just decided that, okay, now we want to do ordinance marriage. It's just the two of us. When we come to the courts, courts now, courts, ebegu the other marriage, and sana or the other ordinance marriage, and I say they will just migrate us from the old marriage to the new one.
I know they are very allowed. So mummy no na worry either by tradition and either by Mohammedan's ordinance. And now Moses see I see a no ordinance marriage. I know they are straightforward. Yamaso opinion it is a simple conversion. And as a insisanye, what's the sense our no Eddie Abefa ordinance marriage. Inti I know the court in Yanishu, Yungushi,
baby, as I be say, if I do that, Obibe to me, I can say, Major no under the ordinance, but traditionally I'm still married to you.
Oh, that be when you converted pair. I make it back no I had to say a trouble naturally and it's a wood jai ordinance and not just a moon review sanity.
Yeah, marriage as a whole, like a marriage, a contractee. Your friends say what she said the person must have capacity to marry or say consent, be more, and all of these things. It's not to say as part of a contracts na ye no. Na ye be prenuptial agreement. Ube to me the young afemu what's the nature of sa prenuptial agreement and I say sa ye and sana. And now, Sanyama we does it only come under the ordinance marriage and now so say me wa customary marriage anymore sa prenup me to me assign it be and say especially Mohammedan marriage potentially polygamous me to me ayebi
me bacha ansa me ansa no me di kan aka to say aware mi nsana mabubo so ni nyina no sani edi kan kan na agitum e wo Ghana enti no o hwa rights ne responsibilities e wa aware ni nyina mu no similar enu enti na obetimi aye traditional marriage na wafre ho be mani din enye by force e was okoye wedding.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Oh, you can.
The process of adopting the other parties.
And also, by force, though, but I remember beating me because me one family dinner by force. And I would join the crown. Do you have to revert to your name? I think that we come there. Yes. But more to question now, prenuptial agreement, no, and your dear, ye my ye nim no pa. Maminche a chef was. Prenuptial agreement na abrofo na omotaye sa agreement na no be mani oba na so mbe ware no omode nhihye egu ho se ya ware a ye be ware se anko yi a na se enya ajapade bi wa nkola kra be mani ade a sei na ye be ye no so ho na wo sha abrofo na taye movie stars no mi ade omo wo musika bi omudi anti no yeah, legal circles, you know, question about a lot of times whether or not prenuptial agreement is important. Say, because say me Mr. Samuel case in the divorce case in Amano, we saw a prenuptial agreement, but you decided as lawyers, you exercise reasons say you sue in court. So, you know. People have those, they can come to a determination, say, okay, so a prenuptial agreement, you per se yes sign. Well, so mummy and most sign, my dream, you fine, mote, mohwasi, Munina a titro ebia wo beman wo BBD or banzu when you BBD na mobile together be wire and a must sign agreement na. Yeah, court organ and normally be ejuma because a simple contract. Well, and under the laws of contract, it should be enforced. The only problem with prenuptial agreement is say, ebia na balances na enye pay. Where's the papa bia we di 54 onu wenya ni bibio di akowa 18-year-old. So now wakache say, look, sign this. Yes. Meanwhile, my wife for another 20 years, permanently 70, and within our no a Japadie baby, but prenuptial no more can say, Bibia a Japadie baby a media. What was the balance no and yepe? But say, Cassie, I'll buy another papa when you see Canada, and to know no bonnet bra. But ye man also, and yes, he can quani determine, say, obiwa access to property. So because the can kwani adisha enka ma bebre because oba bi wo ho a be ma no wire no ono ka che oba nse menye adwuma tena fie na hwe nkola no na se wa ka che oba ni se on tena fie hwe nkola na se o hwe nkola no na wo ye adwuma na wo sika wo betimi aka se ade a wanya ni nyina wo nkwa wo dia se enka utua obi ana ohwe nkola na enka ubenya adaje akoye anase obi ni ho a ohwe nkola nka obetimi nya property na enti mra ne say enye obi ho ha oba no one contribute sika but ye share ni other contribution time ni effort ni ade na ye quantify na say sika
asomdwe kra
mama wasomdwe so ono aduane ma esa ma on your account so enti no ni nyina ye di bomu a esi no ni contribution to marriage to the property, the marriage and property enti no sa balance no court be hwe say whether there was a proper balance and like every contract bia na da wom false you can say
false representation
false representation and I say obi false so say yeah and I mean putting side duress no so sa nyoma ni nyina no to be subjected to.
Is it something that is recognized by our law? Do we accept that?
No, okay, say recognize not just say it is like you obey ya warrior quiet prenuptial. So to say recognize, I would say no. But can it be enforced? I think that's the question. If it can, then my answer is yes. It can be enforced because send me di kan ma ho you know say nipa mienu ni nyina ye nipa omudimo omaje penny say okay me wo ye wadwuma me ye adwuma ye na say na ye pese ye che ya then the court will give an effect.
Say obi warrior na say say one ko gazette because say na say you very big gazette and it says even when you change your name you need to go and gazette it. Say who warrior na one gazette is the marriage, does the marriage still hold?
Me any bearing cry. I had to say who I now share wedding ring. Was a bit more maybe broso. Yeah, and I can understand. Me, my understanding of gazetting is more to do with your name. Because every other work of a bear needing. And you know, the laws of Ghana demand it says I was some free near Wunim and I will use the call for fra. I was say we publish it.
Talking about names, name changing, is it mandatory? The laws of this country say oba e ware bema and I say bema ware oba e was oba no e fa bema ni di
but you ensure ni baby enye mandatory me nim say customary o say abrofo ordinance marriage you know sana net here so they be make catch mema me ye no war marriage school ni ade say you cannot force your wife to take your name. So no say up at all far. It is nice. But to say one family share one ya me man wire ni ade. Well, and where the any legal but they be me catch am for say a din spiritual implication. What I say? That is why utu obiedin and jenhu ye and sana udidin na mano so enti no ebi tisa omudin de sisa omhyebre na mom it will be wiser even say when we yiri nyina nkofa abebrese I'm sorry media bro.
That's just funny. It's on a lighter note. Yeah, I'm trying to say so what can say I'm saying a question I can't even ask again because I was going to ask is it possible that a man can also take the woman's name and I say with me I combine it?
Bet me combine. Say they be almost combine.
And I say Ibema de
no, so Ibema na wire war. Minti the end here.
Even na okay, we are na Ibema dey say na oba ni kuta ebia Winston. So no, but
obi abeka say you kotobonku ni ade wakofa yiri. And na ye can no me kaka ho. Ring. So ring is just a representation that you are married, but it's an illegal basis. And the argument,
I mean, I don't have to wear it.
So and now there's no problem. The reason is, so have you ceased to be married? So we ref na ujani wo fear. That time now ujaya no. So bibia you can do away with for any period of time. And affecting status in that you know that thing is not really a necessity.
Okay. So let's look at the adopting of the other spouse's name again. Some masa samidino na ibia mako through the gazetting. Na ibia wari ne guno. does the annulment of the marriage, and I said the dissolving of the marriage, automatically translate to me ceasing, say me use suicide, and I say I can still go ahead, me jai because sometimes you also go how we jai nipa, so still na or you su nipa ni dino. Who say didn't I do so then? But
no, but
does it matter?
It does matter. Obi oha edino we use in certain circles, they are attaining a certain position. So, and to tell, excuse me, to tell the person say, Jaidini Yusu, simply by virtue say we jai aware no, not acceptable. And the court has pronounced on it. Say aware jai ba, won't mean show be so on society. And they say obani fa udin, and we jao and one the jao and one the jao wina uja na obitimia continue to use the name without any issue. That has been settled by the court.
Is there a limit on how many times one can change the name? Because I'm asking this very interesting. Say eneme jao mafao di kusiapia me jao no me kutakusiapia no. Ona makoshi obi a friend say Malcolm and I say Graham. My wife Graham no. Me name Graham no. So I'm say we are in love. Fancy me say Graham nidi and I'm Malcolm nidi. Can I change my name again to Malcolm or Graham?
Actually, you
as many times I marry.
As many times as you wish. You can actually even combine the two. Kusi Graham. This is Sunday. Prerogative. And I say, wa se wona wo pair. Aha. Say how would you? So betimi achira see because most of the time, say wo ye bibia teach you say bia documentation ya de omo pese omo huni ntia wo sisan udinsa say nya criminal reason bia but otherwise it in there we betimi access you are to liberty to
okay. So my last question on dissolution of marriage and sana ya toa so does death automatically annul and as cancel marriages and as a process bi o hwa e wo say me confirm
no
but
all you have to do is to produce the death certificate because the death brings everything to a halt, to an end. Even sometimes a court case you cause so cry
maybe sasa case you cause ebusuafo bi o ha say aware ne gu no sala o yeye enti ebi kwa o say em say be ma ne nua keto akra e wo so obetoa aware ne so na em say moto for the so people say yemremu wa ha no so obi wu a aware no egu ebusue bie ni baabi a e wo so obehye the other party say aware no not to say aware for life
oh debi
kan den nyina
what was aware
yes
de bia me can mesamba back to it consent nipa mienu na omotimu no omapene so e na omotim anytime ba ku fi say mempa aware ni bio no or withdraw the consent onya withdraw pair and na okọ for aware jai divorce near kika the other thing is owo ba e the aware no e back to an end so say your families are omtimika say oh ye aware no ye udi ade no etimi ben wana unia ketwa timi ware oni ade ni nyina ye cultural things ejina oba na so so oba no peninsula then the issue of consent is now
but any edibio bia
nearby
force e wo ye mrandem okay all right now let's leave that yen hwe aware no ansa na wo be ware no yes bibi de disclosures before marriage ansa na wo be ware no eniema ben na wo se nipa na we hia no wone no ebobo hu nkomo anasa niema ben kra na wo se moye ema marriage no valid
okay enti yewo nioma o sha ayese emra no e wo se o satisfy ansa na waware ena yewo nioma wo nipa no waye ansa na wo begina o so be ware no eno so wo ka ho nokre wo sha nioma wo se wo satisfy ansa waware ebi ni age se we akola emra wo Ghana uni 18 na untimi ware ntino wunya ni sa age na there's no way I was here to me until I be over news I see child marriage share baby corner usually either say or more culture and sometimes even on more religion allow say maybe a 15-year-olds because share even Bible cry people were married off at
14 and 13. I think recently I chanced on it. I was like,
on it.
In common way, the aim no shit. But hold it for me. Young Kwaje and Kwato Ebane. So I am also saying, UTV so and we are still talking about marriages now. Young Kwaje, young break, Yakoba, na Yatwa, young common so. Say UTV so and name say ya call breaker, ya buy the young common to us. So I think so maybe about disclosures of marriage and near ma say also what done it and sana wakofo biba ana abeto ho so say or ana pusa sana ma ware kra edimu yeah.
And you know the na me dika was about age, you know. Say I was say munyina mumienu na moye of majority sana mra kano nti sa moye of majority there mutimi ware.
That is mwedi infie edo watwe
na ba ha ni se obia na adwemu kano and adwemu kano bi wa na nipa bebre fi se obetimi ahwe obi aka se we na adwenye so court in a determines obi adwen or your mental incapacitated sa brofo no court in a decide o nti wo hia obi bodam ni kura na onam na okwa untimi mfa wano keke and decide say or you're mentally incapacitated.
It just brings me to I know of some medically persons bia say yebeka say bia womu you know form kakra maybe almost special school CB maybe a cerebral palsy or something like that ya ka omabom omo wa aware mu in that case we basically can say omo capacity to marry
omo capacity because the thing is I was a court a court because answer court to cry pronounce say obi adwen anase nadwen enye you know otie from specialists we ba no me dia dance na ebi wa ni nuanu ma be dia dance ni nyina judge ne ka bomu wie a ansa waje atum say okay we nadwen ya na nadwen ye nti no even but them ni kra ntimi nhia na keke nka say we are mentally incapable well until a court decides that well but you know if there's any evidence that there's a court ruling on anybody a decision say we are mentally incapable and it should not be and it's ultimately
fit to marry or worry okay
so and debia me ba say penny consent number 1 ewa worry mu well be aware emfa hwe ho odo dien yo consent odo ni nyina share consent
you bet to be a share na aka say em say me hwe wa obema me bia security be also hwe me bia me I'll give you this
yes
every other factor but we've agreed contractually
yes.
No ye be worry
yes because in manage team say obia na dream Paul they call and e different obi dia nyodo and the other there Christo and Muslim
o my can say scanty na worry
normal the here say consent no ewo ho and then you yem push obia na de no kokko share sa worry no so enti no chese senior maker consent no oni sa authority no na wa masa consent wa masa authority no na ma force no e de na akwa share awari no ana ye wonioma wan kasa so wa ya e wo se uka ho nokre ansa wa
before abeba mpacho be do kwechi you were talking about the age say twin madwin me hwe e na atwe madwin basis to say cultures be or age no edifa enti me I'm a traditionalist I want to marry under the ordinance and I say religiously I belong to the Islamic religion I want to marry under the Muhammadan religion and I say the Muhammadan marriage me culture and I say my religion no mammy the will and I say mama sa to me say me to me why akra bi on the puberty stage say 13 14 ye bi enti say me say member ordinance me nya momo de bi na me pay I'm also at liberty to be your friend say to fraternize with any religion bia me pay and rather na ma me ho sa kwan and say mo nja me na me nware me ebia me 13-year-old 14-year-old na wo ka say eno de won pene ma me nware no
okay culture ya dia and my money nyina de ye adwuma agise ya hihye mra against it so enti ebia o de ne say o me de me ware akola we di 15 year de because me religion and my culture ma ho kwan but say you were mra hihye usually an act of parliament I declare say sadie we wrong illegal na say we are and no ho be true because that act is more powerful than cultural understanding and our culture in our person this no so enti no mra na ya hihye say sisi no undi 18 and untimi ware and no di mu enti na wo be hwe news money say child marriages ye go di we echi num ne ade omo yes ye do because among ho nokre and we are reporting what but say huba sema that's what happens they are taking on
nti ye nto aso o say apart from what capacity no ebema your friend say both of us have to know say ye nyina adwemu ka den biom na wo say me declare and I say me disclose che
me ka de ISM rano push you say ye and na one kasa so nyoma bi wo ho wo say wo ka ho nokre say ebi ni say ebia wo ye bema nhuni ho
okay
wa nka nche oba no na wakoware no wo ye oba ebia we yi wa wodi ato ho bibi say wa nka nche bema no wakoware no ebia woni sika bia wo we hiani buburo wo say we managing director well they be oba no wa botai
managing a life sorry, the director of his life and that's of her life.
What's a tie aba betina ho ama waji wedi ebi a wa ware dida wan kan che ni pakro no so we dis a ware na sie na wa be ware no so za nyoma enketin but ya nyoma kese so because emrane fan say what dada nipa no one man akwanya ama wentimi anya na adwen knowing say bia ade we a anka onye e bia na wo yare bia ha adwen mfa say bia ace wa unimo ba wanka and unim say ace ya ade a ya ade a e be affect uni oyire ne nkola e be ba titi sa no kure no e so yi to ho wanka so sa nyoma ni nyina ya ade a emrati mi hwe ka say no ade we e wo say nka wo si supi ansa waware nemom nyemeka to woni say sa wo court akoka say sa nyoma we nyina na eni ho anase obi adada me e wo sa ayiwe mu a e wo so utimi prove say sa nyoma wo kikan na titiri nyoma pertaining to nipa no esu ana bibia waya na wunnim no e wo so utimi check court ni say abra na wo ware no na wunnim because o ka kirel so media mintimi me huni ho na so sorry enya hwe nyame beye na matena se anyame anye ana wo fi se nyame anye na o se afedia mabre nti no me backcourt ababe anole ma ware because what that me court beka say no wanada
it brings me to the question yenhwe dissolving of marriage and annulment at what point and judge ne beka say we straight annulment aware ni kwa na enya aware and na we dey aware but ibegu no
won say the judge ne beka say aware but ibegu ne say emraje tum say maware na maware ne bibia ye pepepe satisfy condition in na why na mom moko ware no nioma tete apansa wo mu a moye ho hwe enye yi nti no en sa ne de wo so obi afa ne baby na de fair na annulment ne say na bibia anya pepepe either mramu ana nipa ni suba afamu no bibi mramu no na condition bi wa ha o miti na my example say bia no ya akola ana say wa ma consent ni aware no ana say odi bibia ehu hia pa di sie ya say sade no unim anka bia wan ware no so ho nti na wo hwe ne boma it is a condition no nyina na was say enko hu ansa wa ware no nim and o de ware wo well nti ano no court twam hu ti say de aware no nsi nti dissolve na me ko o ka say me ko pay divorce a che say ya jitum say wo ware but aware na nye yi nti ko baby and o ka say o ko pay annulment ya jitum say aware no ensi kura because nyoma na wo say wo hu and I was say wo ye and son aware na want me anye sa nyoma nti etwem
e ba na health a yeah bibia emra no hye ne keten say you must disclose wo health status and sana wetimi aware and I say bibia a moral your friends obligation
a legal obligation if at the chrono be affect the other partner so say idea ubetimi akase we affect na then fine I'm here to know what ebia na enya lawyer kind material just hu hia ebia vaza otanya malaria otanya cold bibisa enya material so na mom who to say terminal disease or venereal disease sanyo mani nyina terminal disease just say ebia nche ubewu say nyame ammoa because of your renal one and a venereal disease nche say ubetimi dia sign no ebese sa ono so na brabo any a shese ubeka sa no kre na kire nipa
enti aware no yenhwe aware na nkasa nti say wa church disclosures ni mu yate ase say yaka kire ye hu ewie no say me say yen fa processes ni mu ye yaka kire ye hu ewie na bia ya je atum bia me de me wo say o me kwa me mpeba nti wo de yembo ye do be na peba na akofo bia wo di 14 bi na ya adopt no na ye de na befie and all of that nti ya worry say ye fana to say bia ordinance marriage na why ho na be kwa register metimi about office keke say bia wo ye bia family lawyer na ma ba ho nom so me nam kwan ho na me share brantie me ne gene ho ye mienu ya ja atum say be worry nti ya ba wasye worry is that enough
Debbie lawyer ni bia ni obetimi aware nipa mi no I just a lawyer ni na nso no ye registrar of marriage so ho enti eno de but lawyer ni betimi edi wanim kan a kirew ne wo se oye se be ya waware no ebedi mu na mom se wo pese wan kasa wo ko eko ware dia se wo pe ordinance marriage a wo be ko TMA ana AMA sa ana registrar general's department wakra na wakwa catch omo marriage department and say oh me pese me ware so wudru ho a omo de be kan say ye be ma form na wa fill form no obetro we no kore nyina wo so some of the things we busa on say wa ware pen we ye sujani ana say wo ya ware for so wa ware a ukuru nu ana ye no tiase sa nyoma ni nyina because omo person mu hu say u fit the condition ultimate ware we be say all the next we the 18 where sa nyoma ni nyina we ye mentally sound ne ade e bia court judgment bi ebusa say wadwen mu we sa nyoma ni nyina until feel sa conditions ni nyina na ye hwe na say ni nyina mu mitia na we issue sa 21 day notice na mama or the bibe boss notice board no so say mumie no mo ba be wire so na within that period no mo be ye all the nyoma was mo ye before no akire mom sa mre no then emre no so a moako oni mo witnesses
no
moko tenasia ofre mo na mo sign documents ni ade na witnesses so sign documents no na usually omaka a few words be to encourage you na ya bedemu farewell ya demo marriage certificate na mama I chese mo aware so same ordinance marriage no and no so ultimately dey come out sofo wo sofo no or ye registered marriage officer masori dan ye registered place of marriage so now sofo no dey move go through all the processes including say ombe publish bans say sa oba we na sa bema we ne papa ni we ne mama ni we omotena ha say no ompese omo ware after 21 days of publication of bans no na che say ma obia member objectia then they can marry the two of you aware no so wusha no matter how aware ne be take bia no e be do position bia so for ne be gina ama mo declare mo intentions say a honor di busa consent na me kan ho asem no wusha we say do you take this man as your lawfully wedded husband or wife a honor okay yes or no so we can know imran say immediately also jaya wire no because why withdraw consent nemo muka yes na wire no atwaso to the end obi anu afremo ebi ma sorry bi mu de ko ekose kuku mu ebi mu tena Roman sorry de enim ho na omo atena ho na wo oba no assign na be ma na sign na usually among for my parents na sign and yes any two witnesses from both sides no massa
it me sign
the marriage register no, and only the document that shows that you have been married by ordinance in accordance with the laws of the Republic of Ghana.
And on that note, we will leave it there. Now, me follow up with question, but my time now, so we put this as every time now, because I wanted to find out again about the interferences of the family in the ordinance marriage. But I think say still me sign the one baby yeah to us so say UTV so and wash in common no I de papa I mean I have never really learned about marriage the way I've learned about marriage today, and I believe say also I will share and also we about worry nti mo amu sisi so no mo pese mo worry no mo bi se mo ye ansana mo worry na be sure which one you want to fall under, because bia ne ho kade ne bia ne ho asode any responsibilities na wetumi aware ema wa worry na fa no kwade yesi disclosure ukọ worry so so a wo ne o partner ne ntena ho na nokra bia na sensem bia wo say mo ka kire mo ho no mo ka kire na ama worry no ayeden edimo eyemra no say UTV medin de ekua asanteba mensa mene lawyer Edwin Kusi Apia, or a private legal practitioner with Kusi Apia and associates so pesa one ne kasa obetimi afre no 055 155 5931 055 155 5931. Your best saying is next week. Bye bye.